Okay, so yeah, I'm going to get started. If anyone wants to join, please do say something or put something in chat. I'm just going to leave that open. Yeah, so today is, okay, that's the strip out of the way. Part 2 of building the James Bond Aston DB9. So this is what we got to yesterday. As you can see, it is bottom of the frame and the ejector seat mechanism, which, get that out of the way, which sort of locks open if it's done properly. We're going to see how that ties up with that. That, I think, is for the front machine guns, and see how it all goes. So I'm going to try and make sure that I actually make enough space for everything this time. We'll start off by that as my work area, and then put everything else around it. There was a little bit of confusion yesterday because there are a couple of tiny pieces somewhere in here which I didn't fit, but to be honest, I went through it and I think it's fine. It's not going to be a major problem if they're not there. But we will see. So got some unusual pieces there. So that, not seen one of those before, but more things for the collection. Let's see. So let's just try and appreciate the knolling is not the most interesting thing to watch, so I'm going to try and get done as quickly as possible. Yes. So, I'm assuming everyone's had a lovely Christmas. Well, if you're watching this in the future, I hope your Christmas was okay. I'm also aware some people had some major problems with trying to get to family and what's not, but if you were able to get there, then hope you had a good time. And yeah, it's supposed to be snowing at some time today, so it's doing well. But we'll see. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I mean, we've been out, so we're not too worried about getting stuck in the cold. Let me just pull some of the pieces apart because I don't know whether or not those just ended up gravitating in the bag or whether or not they were supposed to be like that. So I'm going to put them as is. Yes, this is talking about the ejector seat. It is always, I always find it amusing that it is the classic version of Chekhov's gun, because why on earth would you need a passenger ejector seat in a ground vehicle unless you were going to propel the bad guy out? So, I mean, I know James Bond's gadgets are always a bit ridiculous, and I know they always have to be used, but an ejector seat for not the driver, for a vehicle that should be driving on his own most of the time, just feels weird. I suppose that's why it's only ever been used once. Any other time you see it, it's they do not make use of it. But yeah. I have been told that, I'm pretty sure I said this yesterday, but it just made me think of it again. I have been told that the old in GoldenEye, yes, in GoldenEye, the car, they it wasn't really finished, the Bond car they had, so they didn't actually do much with it. Which, you know, I suppose it's a little bit of, can you have actually got a company who's prepared to let you make a Bond car out of it rather than just, oh, no, maybe they didn't realise, maybe it was all a cock-up, but it does seem a little bit incredulous to get yourself in James Bond. And I think, if I remember rightly, like one of the sidekicks takes it and drives off with it, and because they couldn't do anything with it, with a little seemed to be roast, I think. But, it always seems slightly pointless even having it in the film, but especially as well. As you will remember, the Bond, the car everyone remembers from that Bond film is the tank when he's charging it around Moscow. Yes, that must have been a strange. Well, they even mention it in the film. It must have been a strange time to do Bond movies, or what with the fact that you know, the big bad, the Russians, had sort of melted. I mean, hell, when they brought Judi Dench in the queue, she even says, "You are a dinosaur. You are for a kind that has gone." It's really only, yeah. So they sort of had to. I suppose Bond after that, they've always had to be criminals. They can't have any particular government being a problem because it's just not really how the world works at the moment. I mean, yeah, the Russians are, you got your fancy bears and stuff, but it's not really a hot enough Cold War to make it work. Question, is Bond and his chauvinistic ways still relevant to our society? Yeah, I don't know. I'm well aware of female friends who quite like seeing Daniel Craig in swimming trunks, so sure, but I don't know. I think I prefer Daniel Craig in other things. He was so good at Knives Out as Mr. Buffont or whatever it was. It was Matt Fan Southern accent. It was awful, but it was gloriously awful. Like he trained to make it awful. I mean, they even have the, I think we described it as the slowest car chase ever, which I suppose it was. I assume those are the door hinges, which, you know, it's a simple way to do it than the Land Rover did, which got all very, very complicated, but don't know. Anyway, get all these pieces organized and then we can start the build. So timed it yesterday, it came to what, an hour and a half, which I think included some faffing about. So there'll be an edited version. Well, I'll try and edit it down and cut out any of the crap at the beginning when I'm just getting everything ready. But so these aren't the Herculean epics I had with the last one. I mean, just looking at the packs, they're nowhere near as, each stage is nowhere near as complicated as it was with the Land Rover. This is a lot simpler. But well, when I say a lot simpler, it's still done as expert, but it's not. I didn't have to put a diagram as to how you have to bend two parts to cram them together. So it's not quite the same level of well, I don't know. I don't think it'll be quite the same level of complexity putting it together because it is essentially just build upwards rather than here's two unrelated pieces, here's two unrelated sides, and I'll squish them together so the gearing meshes. There's not much in the way of gearing in this. I'm sure there's even, well, okay, there is gearing. There's a gear, but there's not much in the way of it in this one. But yeah. So I'm also trying to dig through the old Lego collection, which, yeah, as I said yesterday, I'm going to try and do a couple of builds from that at some point. They're going to have to wait until I've actually done some organization. I've had to buy more storage containers for it because I do actually want them separated out so I don't spend hours and hours and hours hunting for things. Doubly so because I'm not sure I can find a full inventory for all of the older models. They don't do it like they did it here. So I'm going to have to work out how to organize those and probably start with a really small one. Which I should have brought one down so I could show you the packs. I'll do that at some point. But I'll bring one down for the next video so you can see some of the stuff, some of the ways they used to do the smaller kit instructions, which, yeah, it must be an interesting, well, I mean, I suppose nowadays you basically just use the output from the CAD program. I mean, I suspect it was probably harder to do the drafting in the 70s when you didn't, I mean, because I would assume there's a standardized Lego CAD program. If there isn't, then they're missing out, and they really should even want to sell it to us. You know, you want to design your own model. I honestly don't know if they have that. I'm going to have to have a look, because that would make a lot of sense if you could just design your own model and order the parts, and then they just, I mean, they charge you a premium possibly for checking the parts out for you, but all right. I thought that was a square one with a chip out of it, but it is not. It is a rounded one, so I am not worried. Oh yeah, just if you're wondering, that is the sorted part of the Lego collection in little Stanley boxes. That is the unsorted part of it. So yeah, way to go with it. I've had to order 2 more storage containers, but as this is a complete kit, I'm gonna keep the box, so I've got something to put it in if I ever need to deconstruct it. I didn't keep the box for the Land Rover, and I'm now regretting it. But you know, never mind. I don't intend to disassemble those at any point, so I think we'll be fine. Let's see. So I'm not sure about this bit of having these weird little silvery bits. I mean, it feels like it feels a strange thing to do, considering the fact that, well, isn't the whole car supposed to be, I don't know, brushed steel or aluminium or whatever? I don't know what it's made of. I'd assume steel based on the age. I mean, you could make a car like this with aircraft aluminium. That'd be interesting, but yeah, don't know. So we're doing a lot. So the looks of it, there's a lot of the actual shape of the body is going to be in this model, because I think it's going to actually start to curve upwards a little bit. So that'll be fun. You get to see a little bit more of it. And I am. Let me put you there. I'm eternally amused that it's. The wheel arches are clearly, those parts form the castles. That always amuses me. So let's see. Well, I suppose you guys are getting a better review out of this, even though I'm having to try and work around the camera tripod, but at least it's working. Let's see. I don't know what it is. I mean, I've been sorting out a hell of a lot of the black stuff from the previous one, but I think to find the fact that when it's jet black, it's somehow harder to see the edges of all of the bits. I mean, maybe that's just my eyesight failure because I'm getting old, but it does feel like a box with shiny black bits is somehow harder to see. But as I said, maybe just me being old and my eyesight failing, and yes. Yes, we're talking about the ejector seat being an example of Chekhov's gun. If you describe a gun hanging on the wall, at some point in the story it must go off. I mean, I'm sure some obsessive has, said in the nicest way, obsessive has compiled all of the uses of Bond gadgets going through, but the ejector seat's a very strange one. Wasn't there a gondola hovercraft in one of them as well, which just, yeah, seemed a bit much. I mean, I'm sure there was some kind of amphibious vehicle they could have had instead, which would have been more spectacular, but not very strange. The strangest and also most tragic one was the Man with the Golden Gun, Scaramanga's little plane. That was real. 2 guys built it, and they got it for the thing, and they did a test flight, and the wings fell off, killing both the pilots who were the creators. So they had to do it as a model, but that was just a bit dark. I don't know if it's been me. I just said, just get out of the plot. But I suppose they didn't have time for rewrites. I would have felt a bit weird. These things happen. I mean, it's well, actually, it's a little bit of like you're using an untested airplane for your thing. Is that the best idea? I'm not sure. I think I would have said, "That's lovely, guys. We're using a model." But yeah. Hang on. See what? Annoyingly, this is one thing that I also find a little bit frustrating with the current Lego because the color depth of the diagram isn't particularly high. I'm not even sure if you're going to see it on here. So you could probably see the difference in the grays. That doesn't really show up in the diagram. So you have to be really careful as to what you're doing. I mean, it feels like it's something where they have to actively decide to have it show up, because otherwise it does get a bit much. Yeah.
Motion detected at the front door.
Well, that's a delivery coming for me, I think. Or it's a postman, I'm not sure. But one can get that. So I'm busy keeping you guys entertained. Anyway. Nearly done with this, I think. There's only a small pile of tiny bits to go. I can put those down somewhere. Where did I put them? Sure, never mind. Maybe I just accidentally amalgamated it into this pack, but I'll find them. If I find, yeah. Yeah, so we're doing a bit more of the body work today. Yeah, I must admit, I keep meaning to do, I just think what to do next week. Like, I mean, the next thing is to build some of the models I've actually got, because, well, the vintageness is entertaining to me. But some of the Lego Star Wars stuff would be fun. I mean, I've got a wing, which I didn't build. That was before I decided I was going to start doing this kind of thing. I didn't build it on a stream, but even had a little spring-loaded launcher in it, which was, you know, it's the kind of thing where you sort companies would be a bit wary about these days, because, well, the classic example is the kid who had his eye out with a Battlestar Galactica fighter, which someone's going to tell me I've got the name of. Yeah, Battlestar Galactica. Whatever happened to Callie, the actress who played her? Didn't she end up being involved in that weird sex cult that was run by partially run by the girl from Smallville? I mean, wow, that sounds like the line from a B movie, but genuinely it happened. It was weirdly, morbidly fascinating. But yeah, she got caught up in that, which I don't really know. And I suppose it's like, you know, man at top bad, but anyone below, victim or perpetrator, difficult to say. All very strange, all very, very strange. I think the guy that played Alexa, she tried to recruit him or something, and he's like, I don't know what the hell it was, and I said no, but the world is full of strange people doing strange things. And statistically, one of them will become a film star or something, but I don't know. It's not going to be the first group. I suppose it won't be the first time there's been some weird scandal around Hollywood. I mean, just look at Fatty Carbuncle. God, that's a hell of a name, isn't it? Fatty Carbuncle. Not going to say what happened with that, because I can't remember the exact details, and if I remember it correctly, it was unpleasant, but it was a young lady involved, and that's kind of why the studio codes came in, because essentially they were so embarrassed by being involved by something happening with this guy that they just went, nope, they're going to lock everything down. Yeah. God, I wonder what we found there. But, yeah, still not sure about this Silverrise stuff, because it kind of feels a bit odd that they've got it separated out like that, but never mind. Actually, yeah, this tripod's worked out quite well, actually, because it's sort of, I've been able to just about get to the point where I can reach everything, and you can see all the bits, and I know where they are, but you can also actually see what I'm doing, because I'm going to have this area here. I might need to shunt it over a little bit. Sure. Anyway. Apologies, I went quiet there for a moment, which I'm aware is not the most interesting. Just watching my hands moving around is not the most interesting thing, especially as I'm aware some of you watch this while you're working on things. So no one knows what else at the moment. Maybe some more pop in later, but I do know that you do watch them afterwards. So I'm not so reliant on. Well, I suppose I should think about advertising it more. I mean, I do it on our Discord group. You know, it works. Seems interested. I'm sure someone's going to be interested in this. I just not 100% sure about making it public yet, because someone does join. You hear their voice. They give me permission to use their likeness, etc., etc. Which maybe that sounds like I'm being a little paranoid, but you know, I come from the AV side of things, and we have to take into account legal whatnot and doodads, and it's better that I worry about that than don't worry about it, because I don't know. What if one of you libels something? Libel someone. Slander is verbal. Not that I'm suggesting a few words, but okay. Is either a handle or a tiny telephone? I think it's a handle. And I'm curious as to see what we'll do. Let's see. So. Where's it the black? I'm getting old, and there's bits I'm going, did I just put those out? Or did I not? Or did I specifically not put them out? I think those I haven't put out yet, so I'm going to put those there. Yeah, I'm trying very hard to, as I said, keep everything in arm's reach, but also make it so that you guys can actually see it. And hang on, can I put these down yet? I'm not sure if I put these down yet. It's making me more confused. Never mind. I'm sure I will have enough cases and find them. If I don't, I'm probably have enough in the bits box. I mean, we do not want to go to the bits box. We do not want the bits box to interact with this, but if needs must, then needs must. So we'll see. But I swear I put these down somewhere. I haven't. Never mind. But a lot, yeah. So a lot more actual construction bits rather than the technical doodads. I'm using constructive, my words constructively here. I have the best word. No, we're not poking fun at him until he's literally been thrown out and possibly tarred and feathered, if we can get away with it. But oh, first piece that nearly went missing, which fortunately was these little bits I think are relatively new, because they're not in the older kits I have, and therefore I lose one. I'm a bit scuppered. I mean, like one of those I can probably find, but yeah, it would be fun to rebuild this in random primary colors, which I know wouldn't really be appropriate for it being a Bond vehicle, but I kind of like the idea of a lime green Aston Martin. Not in real life, it sounds horrible, but you know, just having one here would be fun to do that. So it's a 1960s map computer thingy, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, you got to go with the retro chic thing. You can't have it too modern looking. Somewhere somebody did do a analysis of all of the different. This is the kind of thing where I know nerds who would like this. So and some of you may be those nerds, but they did an analysis of all of the different user interfaces that are used in Lego models, like well, like that, and how easy it is to understand, how complicated the models are. There's this whole thing. It was an exercise in explaining how UI works. UX, you call it UX these days, user experience rather than user interface, which is marketing term or technical term, difficult to say. Right, sorry, let me just get the last of this down, and then we can start. Yeah, it's always difficult because you don't quite know how many bits you've got. So trying to arrange them by color, you sort of end up stuck with not enough space for any particular color. I mean, I suppose I could start doing like trays. And I'll probably work out a more effective way to do this at some point, but maybe a neater way. We'll see. Anyway, little white bits, and I'm assuming those will be brake lights. I mean, it gives you an idea of its scale, if they can be brake lights. Of course, the one clear piece, so be careful not to lose that. Have any more of those? Yes. Yeah. Nearly done. And then we can actually start. And, I have more one of those. Did I have more one of those? Did I? Don't think so. Well, I did, but they're right next to each other. So I'll put those there, and then. Right. Okay. So knolling is done, and it's only taken me. What did I start this? God, it's half hour in. Never quite know how that happens. Anyway. I do leave a bookmark in, but it seems to have gone missing, which is a shame. So we're just going to have to go on a little bit. Here we go. Here's section 2. Okay. So turn that a little bit so you can. Which I don't quite like folding it as much, but anyway, that's what it's going to look like at the end. So you can have the structure of it, and then these are the bits to get this going. So, and this time I am actually going to pull out all the bits for each section first, so that I don't end up, like I did last time, accidentally not putting a piece in, which it wasn't a critical piece. It was literally just a little yellow thing that was being used for some structural support, but it just annoyed me. I mean, it's just the fact that there's going to be 2 pieces that aren't in the model, which it's in here somewhere. I didn't want to have to deconstruct anything. I mean, it's nice how they've done the to emphasize something being shiny. It's got a little, like, you know. I feel like there's a technical name for it. You know, the little like star they put on things to make it look shiny. I'm sure there's a technical name for that, and I could not tell you what it is. It's going to be one of those things where somebody will be able to say, "Oh, it's a Fossman star" or something. It's like, "Oh yes, of course, a Fossman star." I mean, it isn't that. That's just me making up words. But well, it's like my well. It's only been my favorite since I found out it existed, but my favorite punctuation mark, the interrobang, which is, so it's from marketing. It's essentially, the, "Oh, really? Tell me how!" Exclamation question is essentially an interrobang. It is it's the equivalent of an exclamation mark and a question mark at the same time. So it's basically one merge on top of the other. Yeah, it was a big thing in the 60s, but it didn't really pan out because, well, basically you had to pay extra for it on a typewriter. It's that simple. I mean, like, whatever mechanism you're using to do your to sort of write documentation probably has an interrobang built in, but you've got to go looking for it. So there's little crossy bits, and then that goes on there, and goes on there. So that's part of the exhaust system. Where does he live? So he's turning it around. Will go. Hang on. Right. See, it seems to show up like that, but it's not really going to go. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, it's not actually 100% showing it lining up, so we're just going to ignore that. I mean, unless it, no, it doesn't look like it wants me to do that. Sorry, I thought that might be somebody saying they could or could not be here, but it is not. It's just my meal delivery people asking me to decide on the next meal, which, yeah, you know, that's actually done quite well for us over this Christmas, because it means that I'm not going to go out anyway. So we're only really leaving the house to go on walks and things, because her being an old lady doesn't really want to have to brave High Wycombe unless she absolutely has to, which I 100%. I mean, High Wycombe's fine, but do you ever remember somewhere like, and then when you come back to it, it somehow seems completely and utterly different? High Wycombe's like that for me. I've been there recently, and I was like, this is not the town I remember living near. But I mean, not that it really matters, because I don't need to go there very often. I mean, sort of goes through it when Mum drives me back here to come home, but that's about it, really. But it's fine. It's a perfectly serviceable small town. I suppose it's not that big. I suppose if there's any Americans on this call, hi. Congratulations on not being run by a sociopath, but well, not having a sociopath as your, you know what I mean. I mean, I know I'm being premature with that statement, but one can get a little overexcited when one has a Democrat, which, yes, you know, doesn't mean all the bad things go away. It means that if you actually pay attention, you can make the bad things go away. Yeah, sorry, I rambled off on a completely unrelated point there. Unrelated to what? Unrelated to Lego. Well, I suppose everything I ramble on about is unrelated to Lego, so there's no real change there. So that is the A-wheel arch. I suppose it's going to go here. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, and it's nice that we've actually got some, you know, can actually get here a lot easier, because I mean, what they put in sort of like a cross east to west train line. I suppose not really east to west train, but they put a train line in between High Wycombe and Oxford, which just made everyone's lives a lot easier, which is nice, because it means that before you had to mess about to get here. It was a bit pain in the backside. But never mind. Yeah, there you go. So, hang on. Yes, no. Rotating from there. Sorry. Just making sure I'm 100% actually doing rotation instructions as specified. So that's one of those. Angularly bit. Yeah, so goes up. See, always helps to pay attention because I nearly put it in the wrong place. There's a 3. You know, now I've actually been digging through the Lego. These ones with 3 bits rather than 2, they appear a lot, and I didn't really realize. I mean, I suppose you don't really realize how common Lego pieces are until you actually start trying to inventory a large box of them, which does put it into perspective how much you've got of anything, really. So, hang on. I mean, no. I mean, not, hang on, no, I don't know. It does feel like I've done something wrong here. This part of the diagram is not under, I appreciate you're going to struggle to see it unless you're watching this in high definition, but this part of the diagram doesn't quite look right. I think it might actually be. Okay, that looks better. Oh. Right, okay, let's get that back together as it should be. I have to stop again. Sorry, I cocked that up quite badly. That bit. Just to make sure I do get this right because it's very easy to just screw up these models. A bit there. A bit there. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird piece there, because you sort of, when you push it down, it's very easy to like try and. Doesn't matter. I put it back together now. Right. So again, pay attention, James. This is where you need to get it right. Well, I'm where I'm talking to myself because you guys are doing this for your entertainment, but I should probably not actually start having discussions with myself. Well, no more than normal anyway. I suppose it's lockdown is the one point. Well, keep calling it lockdown. It's not really lockdown. It's tier 4, whatever that actually means these days. I mean, I know exactly what it means. I read the documentation, but yeah. Now is a strange time in our society. So, okay, well, that's lined up with that. And then you put in the, I keep referring to this as the castle pillar because one, it is, and two, referring to it as the castle pillar amuses me. So that's now, that's long boy on there. Those. This kit has a lot of this kind of thing. Putting in these little knobbles in order to push things up and down, which I fine, but I'm wondering if that's actually based on a piece that's real in the car or whether or not it's just an aesthetic thing, because I don't know, well, that's what happened last time, is there were a couple of little yellow bits, which I just didn't even consider them being there, and I didn't put them in because I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna have to get that without knocking the camera. So, you know, this kind of thing makes you realise quite how wide angle human vision is, because in order to actually get a decent angle on things, I mean, I can see like the whole table, but getting the camera to do it is not always that easy. What's next? A little flat doodad, which it's going to bother me. There was a cathedral we went to. I can't remember where it was. I think it was in Norfolk somewhere, where they had a little thing where you could, you could buy a model of the cathedral, which was like an authorized, like, it was a thing done by like an authorized master bricks person or whatever. But there was also doing like a proper, like, not one-to-one scale, but a proper scale model of the cathedral. And there's a bit where you could, hang on. No, not like, hang on, let me get that off. Sorry, I paused there for a second because I needed to make sure that I was actually doing this correctly, which I was not. So that makes more sense because that's the bottom of the bumper. And so there we go. Right, so that's the back wheel arch. Like so. Cool. And then basically both the other thing at the side. What number are we going up to? We are, actually doing it. I've gone too far. I may have gone too far. I'm just trying to work out whether, okay, so it's not, this isn't actually a particularly big build. So we're going another 30 pages. And that's when, so this will be what, so actually the body of the car and start building the engine. The next one. Just wanted to have a look, see where we were in relation to the next section. What was this time? Cathedral, yeah. So they had this cathedral, which I think it was Norwich Cathedral. I can't remember, but they had a thing where you could they were building a scale model of the thing of the cathedral to raise money, and you could, if you wanted, pay however much, which would go towards the sorry, I just realized, make sure I haven't shuffled a bit under someone because I'm looking for a little, where's it gone? So a little white piece like that, and there should be one more. I swear I found, I put out two, I definitely put out two. And I can't see for looking, unless it's fallen down, so I don't think it has. Yeah, like I said, can't see for looking. What's I saying? Yeah, so you could put in, I think it was one brick onto it, and there was a lady who was sort of doing it as a volunteer, and then you could, it was all very lovely, and you could put in your part of the brick, which would then, this thing will go on display, and yeah, sure, fine. It's tempted by the actual cathedral itself, not buying a whole cathedral. The Church of England isn't just giving them away. No, I meant the model of the cathedral did look like it'd be fun. Nowhere near as to scale, but actually not a bad price for the number of bricks you got on it. But and I had to drag it home with me, and I didn't. I don't know. Now, because there's a little bit of also because I haven't been spending money during COVID. I mean, apart from DIY projects and stuff, be very tempting to just get it, but I think at the time it wasn't as appealing. And speaking of appealing, I need to repeal that to make sure that I got it right. And yeah, so I wonder if that kind of stuff is actually authorized by Lego. It's never quite clear how non-Lego bricksmithing, I'm going to call it bricksmithing because that sounds works. Because I know that I have a friend of a friend who makes little sort of dioramas of of people. So you can get you and your spouse or whatever in Lego, which she does. She and her partner have that, and they both look lovely in it. It's really nice to have that as a thing. But he did say, the guy who does these did say that they struggle to get the stuff in bulk from Lego, so they had to go to some shop that does a lot of Lego stuff and rifle throw it in person, which I mean, it feels like the kind of thing where Lego will probably be encouraging it, because it does sort of keep the brand in people. I mean, if it was me, I'd be like, yeah, sure, here you go. Here's industrial pricing for it, because it's a model we ain't going to build, but you are buying the Lego from us, so good luck. But then again, I suppose that's me. It's I don't know. And like I said, it was a nice thing. It was a nice idea. I don't know how far he's gone with it. I don't remember exactly who it was, which is annoying. There's two friends of my ex who I can think it could be, and I honestly cannot remember which one of them it will be. I'm trying to remember them by their partners at the time. Not that it really matters. It was just a nice project, and it's nice to see it on the wall when I go over and see friends. Right, now here's the bit we need to make damn sure I'm paying attention as to which way round this goes. So that it goes in like that to give the underside of the car, and then we stick that on. That I'm still not sure what to do with. I mean, it does show it as sort of. It's now. Ooh, okay, right. There's where I should. Oh. Stick it up like that. So that's going to be part of one of the other mechanisms. Okay. So that makes a bit more sense now, I think. So you've now got. Hang on. It's a bit odd. Mistake. Sorry. It's just weird the way they've done. Yeah, I mean, it's in the right place. It's over the red bit. So it's just the way that. So you see here. I'm not sure if how well you can see. It doesn't matter. There's just a bit of confusion over some of the a part of the design, which does happen. So. And there it is. Let me get this just. Sorry, I realized I'm a little quiet there, but it's making sure I get this set up as it should be. So there we go. That's the back of the boot. So it's funneled up more and more car light as we go along. And then I don't quite know what these do, but I suppose that's the problem, is when you haven't designed it yourself, you always know it. I mean, maybe I should sort of thumb through this and try and get an idea of the model as before I do it. But I kind of like the surprise of sort of, seeing how the thing takes shape sort of its own volition, I suppose. Okay, so that's. Right. There we go. That clips in there. I see. So that's going to be a mount, probably mounting for the boot lid. So that makes sense, I think. Yeah, there's a little bit of like, how do you, with Lego, trying to get things to go perpendicular like that is not always easy because you have to sort of faff a mechanism because it is, well, as I've learned from, as I'm acutely aware from all the Lego model stuff I do. Oh, bollocks. Sorry, I just realized I put one in sideways. One of the little clippy things for basically that needs to go in that way, and it wouldn't go in if the two bits weren't aligned correctly. Didn't go in properly. Hang on. What have I done wrong? Yeah, that's what I've done. I tried to put it in the wrong way around. I put it in upside down, which meant it wouldn't line up correctly because I'm an idiot. There we go. And then it wants little tail light units, which are more complicated than you expect them to be. But it does mean you've then got all this stuff done. So those and those and so each one of these is a little what's it called? Googie? I think there's a little bit of it like, you know, tail fins and things. I know the British never quite went in for that at the same level the Americans did, but you still got a bit of a tail finishness. Tail finishness? That word made sense to me. Okay, so red and clear. There should be two clears, which I'm sure there were. I mean, if that's the only thing that's missing, I'm going to be fine with that. I mean, no, it's not missing. It's just very hard to see when up against something like that. Anyway, so repeat the process, put that in there, and one of those in there, and then we've got yellow, red, and clear. And then those slot in like that. So there you go, you've got your tail light unit. It's starting to look more and more like the arse end of a DB9, which is, well, I suppose that's kind of exactly what you want it to do, is look like the arse end of DB9. Let's see. So it's not as nice and easy as for them. Choose them. So that's a nice, easy piece to put together. So I think that's right. I have to be careful with this because, again, the whole thing is slightly asymmetrical, so I do need to keep paying attention to exactly what it's doing. And then, so that's kind of cute. So you see how they've done a little like angled, yeah, it's not really focusing, I'm afraid, but a little angled dashboard thing, which is where this comes from. I don't know if it really matters which way. I mean, I suppose it does matter which way up it is, but I mean, it's some dots with a map on it. It's I wouldn't really care. To be honest. It was which bit of the which knobs are supposed to be the right way up. I don't know. It's the piece that will hold it in place. So I assume. I mean, it looks like it. It is adjustable. There's a little knob to so you can. I suppose have it as a secret. I don't know. I suppose it's sort of a secret thing, isn't it? You know, like a back computer almost. Back computer or back-puter? I don't know. I always everything back everything with that now. It was, and so so it's like, here you go. There's a heating grill. No, it's a computer thing. I mean, you just wouldn't bother nowadays. It's kind of like, just change the UI, mate. It's not that big a deal. Just have a password on it or something. But I suppose it was the 60s and such a thing. Yeah. It was kind of odd. Well, what was it? Austin Powers, where he goes from like the then technology to the now technology. And because we had stuff to base it on, it looked worse. It was just like the old way to put it. Right, so that's part of that console. So I see it stops it going all the way around. It only goes that far. Okay, that makes sense because that's less silly now. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, there's a bit when he's talking to his controller. I can't remember what they called him in the film, but he's in the 60s version, it's like a TV video phone thing, which looks fine in sort of like a like a 480 kind of 480i kind of way. And then they go to what it's like now, and it's sort of like AOL video messagey thingy of 1998, and it's like, this looks dog awful. I don't know. Looking back at the two technologies, you went from something which wasn't real that looked good to something that was real that looked crap, which just feels so strange. Actually, I mean, you want to see a film. You want to see a film age any form of electronic gadget. I mean, it depends. I suppose some stuff doesn't age as much. Like you look at Minority Report, and that still looks all right. I mean, admittedly, there's a degree of like, why do you need the gloves? Because I mean, I've got a VR rig, and it already does that. You can already wave your hands around and do things. I mean, it's a prototype, but it works. It's in beta, but it works. Rather than being prototype. Yeah, so there's your little steering wheel. It even turns. Isn't that cute? And there's your. I still think that's hilarious. It's like, oh, it's a secret. We've got sat nav. It's like, oh, really? It's really you guys? That's cute. It must be fun to build one, I suppose. I mean, if you had a car, you could just. I mean, you could probably relatively easily like make a. Wait, have I done that right? Sorry, there's a little piece that goes in there just to fill it in. I suppose you could probably make one of those things relatively easily. I mean, like you just have a pretend CRT, and you could probably put a pi in it. I mean, that's sort of become the thing, hasn't it? I mean, I didn't bring mine with me, but if you want to do something that looks a bit dumb, just put a pi in it. It's fine. Just pretend. Number of pi Ks and that kind of thing. Because why even try and get a fully functional CRT? It's going to be big and clunky and expensive and pointless. Anyway, okay, this is the seat we're making, right? Some friend did say, "Oh, does the ejector seat actually eject a guy?" And it's like, well, no, it's not minifig compliant, but I suppose you could do. I mean, I'd have to dig one out. I'm not sure. You know what, I will. Once I put the seat together, I'm going to dig out a, is that only got one clip on it? I mean, fine. Yeah, I suppose, wait, hang on. Yeah, I've done it right. It's only got one clip. I suppose it doesn't really matter because you're not going to be fishing around with it too much. It's slightly weirder than I expected it to, but not for any particular reason. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I'll dig out I'll dig out one of the Lego Technic guys because I reckon that he's probably about the right scale for this. I mean, they didn't give you one, but I reckon he is. Give me a second. So anyway, there's the seat, and I'm gonna get one of the Lego Technic boys. So I'm not sure if any of you will even remember these, but you used to be able to get, as well as the minifigs, you got like macro figs. Let's see. I think he's about the right size. Actually, he might be a bit small. We'll just say he's not the biggest person. But okay, so there you go. That's one of the old Lego Technic articulated. I mean, he's got a lot of articulation. He's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 points of articulation. I mean, I suppose that's 2. I don't know. I don't know what you do with hips. Anyway, yeah, I mean, he's a little. Let me put the seat in and see how he looks. I reckon if you could get him in, I don't know if it was intentional, but that's not bad actually. I mean, it's pretty. Put his hands around the wheel. I mean, he's clearly no James Bond. He's not even a Super James Pond. Yes, that is a fish pun. Yes, it was a video game. It was basically, yes, I mean, but hang on, let me get him a little bit closer. I mean, he fits close enough. I mean, you ain't no James Bond, I'll give you that, but let's just say he's one of Q's test drivers. And if you fiddle with it a little bit, I mean, okay, car not finished, but man about right size. I mean, he just looks a bit small, and quite frankly, I know enough small people that drive cars that you just, I don't know, put a booster seat in or something. Yeah. No, that's kind of fun that I've discovered that. I'm not really sure how he put that, but anyway. So this is going to be the front of the car. Oh, no, these will be the doors. That's interesting. Oh, it is. It is. I mean, when I said it was a telephone, it actually says tire size and hidden phone. So there is a hidden phone in here. Bloody hell. It just feels weird. Like the 60s were like, oh my God, you could talk to people not in your vehicle. It's like, yes. I mean, okay. I suppose at the time, mobile phone networks did exist, but they were basically military restricted stuff. Oh well. There is a there is a DB9 sticker that should have been in with this. It doesn't appear to be here. I'm sure I'm going to find he's on one of the other. Let me have a very quick look. See, because we've got 2 more packs, and they may have just. Let's see. I mean, the Aston Martin sticker appears to be in the right place, but I don't care. I think there's a little bit of I don't care. Because you've got, I mean, the key stickers appear to be here. The fact that there's a tiny little DB9 indent on the I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't think I care enough. I'll just check the other one quickly to see if he's really obviously about. No, I don't care enough. Oh well, I mean, Lego stickers always feel a bit weird because you've then got a brick, which, you know, the only, personally, and I know I'm being a pedantic old fart here, but personally I prefer the ones that screen print, but I don't think Lego really does that much these days. Like I've got, because I separate those out when I have them, but it looks like they use decals rather than screen print. Sorry, they use stickers rather than screen printing. It's not a decal. A decal is something different. Yeah. Let me pay attention to what I'm doing for a second. I mean, much as I ever do. So, there we go. I mean, yeah, do not care. Do not care that it doesn't say DB9. I'm not that fussed, quite frankly. There is an Aston Martin sticker to go on the front of right at the front, so that's fine. I mean, I don't. And you've got clearly the. I mean, if I hadn't had that, I would have just replaced it with something else from the bit box, because there are various different computer parts which you can have. So wouldn't have really cared, but it's just nice to have something a bit. Okay, so it's nice to have some of them, but I don't really care about enough of them to make a big deal out of it. Anyway, it's that and those. I should probably tweet this to Oxfam, actually. I don't know. I'll take a photo. I'll think about it. I'll think about whether or not I want to actually put this on the internet where the people can see it, because people are scary. If you lot from the Discord channel, hi, always nice to see you guys, but the general public, I mean, even if you are a member of the general public, I wouldn't feel too offended by that, because do you always get on with the general public? You know, when you have to go out and deal with them in your job? I'm not sure. It'd be nice if you do. If you genuinely get on with the great British peoples, then that's lovely. But anyone who's worked in retail knows that it's there's a limitation to how much you want to deal with the real world. Bane of the YouTubers, I suppose. It's I'm not quite sure how some people handle it, because there does seem to be a correlation between social anxiety and doing YouTube for some reason. So hang on. So that's the door handle, I suppose. It must be. Or I can't think what else it would be. I mean, anyway. So there's up there. And 3 block doodads. Does it go to 90? 87. Yeah, so we're what, 14 pages away, so it's going along at a reasonable clock now. I suppose I've just got better at rambling whilst I'm doing things. God, if I ever have an autobiography, that might actually be the title, Rambling Whilst Doing Things. I mean, yeah, it's not a bad one, actually, especially as I've got a friend who, oh, bless, I actually did find that, I mean, I can see how someone could get pissed off by what she said, but I actually found it really cute. And I've said it, I know I've recanted this before, but she basically said that she sort of views me rambling on about shit as sort of this ASMR type thing. She just likes the sound of it, and she finds just listening to me babble on about nonsense soothing, which, I mean, I suppose if you've got any small kids, you may have the same experience, which would be nice, rather than you just going, shut up, child, leave me alone. Looking for bit 3. And have I got any? Yes, I do have quite a few left. I need to start getting these closer. Okay, so magic telephone. Only hooked on one side. I suppose it's so you can get it out to cosplay or cosplay this level. You know what I mean? I mean, I can get it out so that I can have the guy posing with it. That's, yeah, okay. So it's in enough that it won't come out, but it's not in enough that if you try and pull it out, it'll structurally damage anything. So yeah, fine. Doors, you've got a complicated door. I mean, I suppose it's got a secret compartment in it. So there's a degree of that's why it's complicated. Also, some feedback on this would be great. Like, is the angle too high or too low? Do you actually want to see all the stuff I'm knolling, or do you just want me to bring it off screen? I mean, I could easily bring this right into the model itself, but I thought you might actually want to see where I'm getting the bits from. Yeah, I get a degree of pleasure of watching this sort of gradually decrease as I go along. But if you guys give me feedback and say you don't actually care, that'd be great. Or it'd be great. It would make organizing the frame easier. I mean, I know at the moment it's sort of a thing where I like it, therefore I'm prepared to put up with having to scrabble around things. Okay, so there's that. So the doors look pretty good actually. I mean, it's actually quite close to a real DB9 door, I think, as much as I've ever seen one, I suppose. There's me secret compartmenty bit where we put our telephone because, oh God, I just like that. I know, it's just the fact that there you go, sat nav and telephone in one thing goes in pocket. Which must be just kind of, I don't know. I get the feelings that science fiction writers of yesteryear would just get kind of disappointed by the way we're just kind of a bit lame with the way we do things, which we are a little bit. Oh, I see. So that's, there we go. So if I can just line it up properly, there's your door and there's your secret compartment for your telephone, which, I mean, I don't know, like, will kids much different. There we go. So, I mean, do young people really recognize that as a telephone? Because we've kind of gone away from the skeuomorphic design. I don't know. So yeah, that pops up, and then you just put the end bit on the door, and you're good to go. The door goes on. So, right, there we go. So, how does he link together? So, I see. So the thing is there. So he. Right, so there's the door with your pop-out telephone receptacle. But that works quite well. I mean, he's got a detent, which is nice. I always do like a good detent. Yeah, so looking more like a door. And there you can see a little sketch of it, and you've got the tire size, which, I mean, I'm showing the tire sizes. I'm pretty sure that they're in the next section, but you know. Concealed secret telephone, which, yes, of course. Then it's the other door on the other side, and some axle bits, and then yeah. Oh, I see, because this door is less weird and complicated. It's got less weird and complicated bits in it, which, yeah, fine. I suppose there's no need to over-engineer one side of it, because the other side is over-engineered enough for both of them. And there we go. What am I looking for? I'm looking for little hook bits. Which is in... No, that's right. Sorry, for some reason I thought that was the outside. It isn't. It's because it's gonna do this. Yeah, exactly like that. That's how it's going to move. So we need. Keep having this paranoid moment where I think something's missing. Almost certainly isn't. I just can't see it. Like there. And that goes on there. I'm looking for that bit. So also something vaguely satisfying about using up the last of a particular piece because it kind of makes it feel more complete. I mean, it isn't complete because it hasn't finished it yet, but you know, somehow this makes it feel closer to being complete when you use up the last of a particular piece. Okay, so hang on. I have found the DB9 thing. It's just on the wrong door now. And I mean, I did fine, don't care. At least I've got it, but I think I can deal with it being on the wrong door. I'm not pulling apart that door. I don't care. At least it's there. At least I know it's there. I need to go, oh, it's on the wrong side. It's like, yeah, but at least I haven't lost it. So, right, sorry, I got distracted by trying to work out what the hell I was doing. There we go. So there's another piece of the another piece of the door. Sounds like a God, I forgot the bands. They did another brick in the wall. No, someone's going to be screaming at me going, it's, yeah, and I know it is, but I can't remember it. Pink Floyd. This I can remember it fine, apparently. Okay, so. I mean, I know that's a whole song is about being against conformity, but it did feel a bit like he's going, hey kids, don't go to school. It's like, no, that's a really bad thing to tell kids not to do, but whatever. It does sometimes feel like the most rebellious thing you can do to educate yourself. I mean, you know, actually think about it. There you go, kids. If you want a moral, the most rebellious thing you can do is educate yourself, and then you can decide whether or not you want to be a cog in the machine. Whereas if you just say, I'm going to do what you want and all that, you go, fine, the machine will just chew you up because you will not have the wherewithal to resist it. Tool. What's it doing? It's doing that. So there we go. And I suppose a door there. So there, now I got the other side of the there's that end piece, which I'm going to do just right now. And that's what those two little pieces are for. we go. And then we slot that in as we did before. He goes on. Let's see if you can see it. So, right, that's the bit that little bit there is what this bit connects to. And there we go, another door. So we now have the 2 doors to our DB9 coupe, I suppose. I'm not 100% clear what you call cars. Right, that's good. So one of these, I didn't know what the hell to do with it. It was in last week, so I shoved it in here, and I must have put it in the wrong one, which they did because I need to. And 2 I have. So +1 to me. I suppose -1 for not putting the right bits in earlier, but okay. 2 white squares, and there are 4, which means that there's 2 more for something else, which is fine. Come on. There we go. Let me just make 100% sure I know what I'm doing with this. Hang on. Sorry, I thought I'd missed something, I haven't. Oh, okay, all right, so that goes in.
So it's getting awfully dark, even though it's 2:30.
Hang on.
No sign of that snow yet. Oh, sorry, you
Yeah, sorry, it's fine. Okay, so we're nearly done. I mean, I get why that's there, but I suppose it's just a. Fine, that seems to be the right way to do it. Hang on, I've just spotted I missed something, which is it's fine. It's okay. So let's go back a bit. I kept missing a bit off the doors, which is, not the end of the world because I've spotted it now. Here we go. Yeah, that is needed to tidy up. I'll give you that. So, no, not that way around. That's it. Looking for a piece I'd already installed. So one of those. Okay, so that's just smoothed it out. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Okay, so put in those. I think those just a bit hanging, or the structural thing, or whatever. Maybe they're based on what's actually in the car. I don't really see why you need them, but never mind. So that way, and then that. Yeah, sometimes it's going to be a little bit difficult to see the exact way that these show, but so that's one of those. And then let's just make the matching one, just so we've got it. That goes there, goes there. There you go. So wait, what? No, I've done this completely wrong. I've done one of those completely wrong. I've done that one completely wrong, which is fine, but I just need to turn it around. There you go. So those are now correct. Okay. Ah, I see. So those go on front like that. That's the center console bit, I think. So, which moves around, I think. It's a bit, we're going to the aesthetic part. I'm like, what the hell does this do? So, okay, that fits in there. Which holds down the doodad. Need to remember to put the yellow bits in because I keep forgetting the yellow bits. Because, well, I thought the yellow bits once and I'm very aware of it. I want to make sure I don't do it again. A couple of white bricks. You go there. There. And those two go over the top to lock that into place. Okay, so closer and closer to actual car. Same piece. Okay, so there we go. And again, I do like it when I get the last of the bits, last of these, not those. So you've got ones where they've got holes in them, and some have got studs on the bottoms because I assume they go in different directions. These. I think that, yeah, I think just making sure I've got all the bits I need. And then this is going to be like the center console, I think. And then, wait, hang on. Just realized something dumb I did. Why did it ask me to stick all those bits on? So I just realized there was a whole section I somehow managed to skip right over, which was, yeah, here, put all these bits on. How the hell I missed that? I don't know. Anyway, let's go back and do that because I've got all these bits to put on. I don't know how to. It's too focused on this bit and this bit, which is, okay, you see there the arrows, and then this little bit is highlighted in red, which you can might just be able to see. And I don't know. Anyway, let's just put the structure of the body on like so. And just pretend that I didn't miss that earlier. Switch everything down, make sure it's all nicely in place. So not sure how I managed to completely miss doing that, but whatever. It's God, you know, it is a nice looking car, but my God, would these be dangerous to drive? I mean, I assume it's got, I don't know, it's got seatbelts. It sure has to have a steering. It doesn't have a an airbag. Cool. Well, okay, that now looks more car-like than it did before. So let's go back to where we were. Now we make the dashboard, and that's it. That can't be it. I mean, there doesn't seem to be too many bits. I mean, okay, there's two more of those than there should be. So let's just see where this goes. How well do you have to sing a song to get copyright struck? That is a good question. Can I sing that well? No. Can somebody else? Maybe. I mean, it almost feels like setting up, it almost feels like it'd be worth setting up a secondary YouTube account just to try it. Hang on, something's going wrong here. Why are there all these extra bits? I mean, it looks complete, it looks fine. There's a whole bunch of extra bits here that should not be. I mean, I suppose if it's in the wrong section, that must be it. Because I mean, I haven't even seen where that goes. I think that's probably what I think. Fine. I mean, they had a reasonably good guess, but I think they guessed wrong. Best I can see, there's actually not that many more bits in here. So yeah, well, I can't really blame the charity guys because it does tell you it's full inventory, but not inventory per section, because that would that way around. Paying attention, but yeah, they haven't done inventory per section, it's just an inventory. So all I'm going to do is just dump the bits into the next bag, which is, I think, all you really can do at this point. Because I mean, all the other bits are clearly useful, but I mean, I can actually see in section 3 some of these are actually, yeah, you see yeah, they've just got it wrong, which is fine. I mean, I would be a petty man if I was going to have a go at Oxfam for that. But okay, so those clip on like that, and then you've got your dashboard. See, with your little computer doodad, which is usually the air conditioning unit. I'm 90% sure I've done everything. 90%. I'm pretty sure I have. It looks like I think I've done all the things. If I haven't, we're going to have to do some. Let's see. No, I have to spot a mistake I've done, which, come on. Yeah, I have put him the wrong way round. I mean, yeah, it's our mistake, but not a massive mistake. And I think I'm. Oh. It's all coming apart. Oh no! Lego catastrophe. That's fine. So. Best I can tell is I'm done for this section. I think. I'm pretty sure. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, again, as I've said multiple times, this is a charity shop find. So the fact that they even went through and checked it, I think as Mum said, I will probably tweet to Oxfam I got this because, well, they didn't have to accept it. They could have just broken it into bits and just a bag of stuff for £1, but they actually took the time to, it's like 85 quid. Yeah, the real one worth a lot more, but yeah, best I can tell, that's done. So just to show you before we end, so you have actually got enough space for a driver, and it does actually fit a Lego figure in it, which is nice. I mean, I don't know if they had an old Lego Technic man kicking around to try it, but I really hope that's what they did. So you open and close the doors, and the most retro of things, you've got your little secret telephone, which, wow, and then your little secret sat nav, which I suppose was just secret, just to make it, just so it wasn't clear that he was like some kind of like, I don't know. I mean, some rich idiot turned up with a DB5 with an extra with some aftermarket part that you've never seen before. I mean, would you automatically assume he was a spy, or do you think he'd just be a rich idiot? I mean, it's a question for another day. But anyway, so that's section 2 done. I know, please ignore all these bits. I'm pretty sure those are going to section 3. But yeah, that's been fun. We've even found one of our little friends a car to drive around in, which considering the fact that they're usually in like go-karts and things, it looks a bit weird that being a proper human-sized car with one of these guys in it. But anyway, hope anyone who is watching this had fun, and we'll be doing this again tomorrow. I think 1 p.m. seems like a nice round time to do it. So I will see you guys later. All right, take care.